much of learning is done out of class. We learn more out of class. So when you say you're going to evaluate a teacher on a performance contract such that they are evaluated from the time they are in class, then we lose the essence, the very essence of a school as a social institution.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to help shape the character of children.
All right.
Not all of them have been written off though.
Rosalind, is it a valid excuse for us to blame circumstances and our current situation? We're living in a very different day and age where, like you mentioned earlier, you wake up at 5 o'clock because of traffic. I mean, even I come to work very early, and the times at 4:30, I'll see small children on the road as well, trying to make their way to school. But is that a valid excuse for us to disconnect from our children? After all, they didn't have a choice when they were coming to the world. It is the parent who actually, you know, initiated the process for them to come into the world.
And as parents, we are stewards of those children. We are the ones who are supposed to guide them to be better citizens as they grow up. And I must say, Project X is not only, before I go to your answer, it's not only an Nairobi thing. Even in the village, they have their own versions of Project X. We've seen even chiefs banning funeral discos. Whatever happens there, just what happens in Project X. Yeah? People are banned. Like when somebody dies, there's a lot of disco dancing, and school children go there, and that's when pregnancy comes. There is no excuse of a parent not to parent your child. There's always a choice you make as a parent for the sake of your children, for the sake of yourself. I just talked, when this project is, I talked to a few teenagers, and I asked them, would you go to Project X? And most of them said, no. I asked them, why? It's just because it's the way I was brought up. The poster itself just cannot make me go. Then the next question I asked is, if you go into a party, a friend of yours has called you into a party, and you see drugs, and I don't understand why there's always half-naked women. And
well, to call a spade in some of these activities, really, they're orgies. They're
orgies that go on, and most of the time is the women. And if you see them, the movie that happened in 2012, the women were practically naked, and the boys were dressed very well. So then I asked, would you attend that kind of a party? And most of them were like, you know what? I would go in because of curiosity. I want to see what is happening. Then would you partake? And you know what? No, I would see what's happening and I'll go. So you see, most of the teens, the young adults, even grown-ups, most of them will not go. Some of them are like, you know what, this is not my cake. Some of them are like, you know what, let me go and see what happens. But now the curiosity, the ones who are looking for answers, there are many teenagers out there looking for answers, looking for validation, looking for affirmation, looking for a place to belong. And that's where the parent has not brought in the core, the belief system in them that, you know what, you belong in this family, you belong to us. Those are the kind of now teenagers who will go and partake because now they'll be accepted. The girls won't mind stripping naked and walking because now for once there's a man who has seen them as attractive. So what I would advise parents is, there's no excuse. Take your time. Take your time. Start with quantity, then go to quality time for your child.
Okay.
Talk to them.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me come to you, Joseph. And we've seen the government also come in and clamp in on some of this, like now specifically Project X, and they said it's not going to happen. However, that may be a temporary solution. What's a long-term solution for this? Because even them coming in and saying it's not going to happen does not really stop it, because if I decide to have a party in my house today, nobody knows what's going to happen behind closed doors.
Like, for example, we need, children need also a little more time at home. The system, you look at the system does not afford children time. They are so packed. Huh? You get a child who is going to preschool, and early in the morning that child is whisked to school at around 5. The fella comes back late in the evening, heavily laden with homework. Struggles to battle with homework until 10 p.m. before the fella sleeps. So that is too much workload, I think, for children. And we are socializing them to think that education is not a social thing, it's not something they would appreciate and like. And again, you see, the system, the structure affords children some break from school to rest. But schools nowadays do not afford them that chance. When the schools break, they call children back for tuition. So they are in school all through. So even if a parent will want to really, really be close to their children, and you realize that your children are going to a school that does not have time that does not create any little time for your child to be at home. Whether schools are
but
closed
now
or
the government coming in and trying to clamp down on this, using the machinery that they have, is that really a solution? Maybe Rosalind, I'd like to hear from you.
I think, and something happened, I think it was yesterday in Langata Estate. And there were like, according to the social media, there are like 300. And I'm wondering that house can house 300 children. Those were children between 18,
or the ones who
16, yeah. It's the same Project X kind of thing. 16 and 19. And what I saw, there was a clip I was sent. I was like, you know what? These children are not criminals. It does not make sense for cops to take those children to a cop station overnight. And I hear they slept there overnight. Even arrest them. Why are you arresting them? What they need to do is let them sit down, each child call their parents, and their parents are the ones that need to talk to them. Why are you taking? So I think the government needs to now go to the drug monies in the society. Yeah, parents need to start taking their role as parents. Yeah, society just needs to take up. We just need to now to be very key or very on our morals, because arresting and stopping things like Project X will not change.
Will not change.
Will not change. A teenager will still want to go and see, and they will still want to go and find out, because they are at that stage. That is their transformation stage. They are looking, they are asking, what is this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Celestine, as a student of University of Nairobi, where are some of these things that, where are some of the venues that these events take place? During the Hot Topics, we were discussing it, and I was surprised to discover that youth nowadays even hire a bus. They don't really need a house per se. They hire a bus which has no destination, and it becomes a Project X venue. What are some of the other venues that maybe these things happen?
Okay, actually, I can't really know where these are venues being held or these activities, because me, myself, I don't engage in them. But with the time, or for the time being, I can actually tell they do organize these activities. As I've said, yeah, people can maybe organize it to do it maybe from outside Nairobi. So you might find that let's go to Naivasha, you have got a party there. So you find that something like related to Project FM thing, Project X. The same, it happens even in the hostels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So different venues. I'll cut you short because of time, and maybe come to you, Joseph, in terms of what would you say, what's the advice you'd give to parents out there as they're watching in terms of solutions? Just very briefly.
I mentor children, and I keep on telling them, when you talk to children, there is power in sharing. If parents can talk to their children, if parents can just have some time every evening, or every time the children are there.
Time, quality
just
time.
Talk to them.
Okay,
yes.
sorry to cut you short. I think we're really out of time, and we'll have to wind it up right there. But thank you very much, Rosalind Keegan, who's a parenting coach. We have Kabende Joseph, who's a lecturer at USIU, and Celestine Amunga, who's a student at UON. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. Well, I'll leave you right now and carry on watching, because we've got the last word coming. And I'll wish you all a fantastic and a productive weekend. God bless.